Hello, my name is Miranda Ting, and I am grateful and humbled by the opportunity to live and work on the beautiful So Timok, the ancestral and contemporary lands of the Stolo peoples. My presentation is on sustaining circular communities in the Granville Island Creative Walk. Let's look at the inspiration behind this topic. How this began was a desire to build knowledge about the evolving makerspace landscapes in Canada and discover how makerspace actors use and deploy circular economy society principles and ideas. This led to look at a variety of makerspaces. One that stood out was Granville Island's unique status as an urban park, which is zoned for urban experimentation, innovation, and the nurturing of arts and culture. It mixes artisanal culture, a haven for foodies, variety of creative retailers and studios, nautical industries. At one point was the home of the former Emily Carr School of Creative Arts. In essence, Granville Island is one massive makerspace. What can a collaboration between education, grassroots organization, government, and local businesses look like to spread awareness of local circular principles? Geography 464, or GED 464, was a urban regeneration, art, and sustainability course at the University of Fraser Valley. It was co-taught with myself from the graphic design department and Dr. Sherry Enns from geography. The goal was to work closely with local businesses, grassroots organizations, such as Friends of Granville Island and the GIBCA, and government stakeholders, such as the CMHC, fostering a hands-on application of placemaking principles that addresses sustainable development goals through human-centered design. It represents a unique outcome of an interdisciplinary approach, bringing together various fields, and is open to a variety of students from a variety of backgrounds, including design, geography, environment, education, and social work. For most of the history, Granville Island was a sandbar that was used by the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh peoples as a gathering place. In 1915, the sandbar was dredged and the island became known as Mud Island, also known as Industrial Island because the industry became the main tenant of the newly dredged island. In the early 1970s, most of the industries had moved off of the island, leaving water and land polluted, a direct industrial wasteland in the heart of Vancouver. And at this time, Vancouver locals found the old buildings could offer mixed use, affordable rents for experimental businesses. The public embraced this creative and cultural reuse of the land, and with public input and visionary foresight, it was designated by the Government of Canada as the site for redevelopment, as a multi-use people's place or urban park, terms that were coined specifically for the use of this 42 acres of land. Being federally administered meant that municipal land use rules do not apply. This has allowed for non-specific and mixed-zoned usage, which offers an extraordinary opportunity for nurturing diversity, cultural cross-pollination, urban and social innovation, and experimentation. Due to the success and gentrification of Granville Island, there has been challenges that need to be addressed. So, for example, public access, parking can be difficult. It's not always pedestrian friendly. Unused spaces, which can be repurposed. Affordability, although Granville Island was very successful, this also meant over-tourism, which also meant unaffordability for locals. More spaces for cultural use rather than tourism. The question of, is it still a people's place? There's a lack of public multi-use spaces. Certain demographics are also left out. And the main thing we found that was challenging was makers' cultures losing its vibrancy, such as bureaucracy is killing the innovation. There's less emphasis on the makers of the island and more so on what's making money for the island or what's increasing revenue. Also, what type of reconciliation efforts to repair relationship with the original Indigenous peoples. And so this came to the design process where Sherry and we met for 7 weeks, both virtually and in person, and we stressed the importance of collaboration between a variety of disciplines to foster effective placemaking solutions while addressing sustainable development goals. A variety of design thinking workshops were held to encourage students to work collaboratively, incorporating diverse perspectives in their problem-solving process. Part of this process including talking to the actual makers of Granville Island. With a class field trip, students met with a variety of makers to listen empathetically on what challenges they face on Granville Island, what they do as makers, and learn about why place and the Granville Island community is important to them, designing from the bottom-up approach rather than a top-down approach. And after listening to many stories as a class, we delved into the design thinking process and created a variety of matrix maps on idea of what we can implement for a wayfinding event. For this, we also wanted to integrate ideas of circular processes into our event. As a class, we soon realized the enormity of the project and our time constraints. We decided that this wayfinding event would act as a prototype pilot, and the results from the pilot would help Friends of Granville Island ascertain the information they need to create a future event showcasing the importance of the maker culture to Vancouver, as well as to the Canadian arts and culture. In the end, our problem statement as a class was to create an interactive event that highlights creative members of the Granville Island community and how they engage in sustainable circular practices. And finally, we're coming into the concept of this event. So we decided on the Granville Island Creative Walk, and the idea is the event day's activity included a creative walk, a map of Granville Island with scavenger hunt-like objectives. Participants can look at a virtual map that helps guide them to featured locations. Each featured location will have a visual component and a QR code that takes them to a landing page for an individual maker to learn about how that maker engages in circularity. And QR codes for each landing pages would be installed close to or inside physical locations for partner makers. Participating public may be eligible for one of 4 prizes. Students who also wrote a series of questions for each participating maker and created short videos. And this is an example of one of the videos that showcases the maker Chroma's artist acrylics on the website.
Chroma was started in 1970s by a pair of brothers. So one brother, Gordon Kane, was a painting instructor at UBC and an artist, and his brother was a chemist. And around this time was when abstract expressionism was taking off. So people wanted to do all kinds of things with paint that they didn't do before. They wanted to like throw it around. The oil paint is not great for that. So acrylics were sort of a new thing. And they were just hard to get. So they started making them so that they could use them. So Vancouver Grey is a special edition color that we make about once a year. Every time we run a color through there, when we're finished, we do a rinse down. And that rinse down is a pigmented mud that we collect. When we have enough to make a large batch of paint, we make Vancouver Grey out of it. And it's a little bit different every year because it really depends on what kind of paint people are buying. Chroma is a pretty steady thing. I hope it looks much the same in 10 years. I mean, Granville Island is a really incredible community to be a part of. It's the community down here that keeps us here.
So each maker had fun facts that the public can learn about posted around the island and also in the studio. For example, hammock hangout place fun fact is the store works with socially driven organization that has been supporting Mayan families for 15 years by purchasing their handmade hammocks. They help alleviate poverty and promote gender equality through the manufacture and distribution of hammocks worldwide. And another maker, Kasama Chocolates. Fun fact, Kasama in Tagalog, Filipino means togetherness, friendship, camaraderie, and collaboration, which encompasses what Kasama Chocolate is all about. Another maker, New Leaf Editions, Peter Braun. Fun fact, Peter uses collected materials from the streets of Vancouver for his printmaking. Studio 13, Sky Fowler. Fun fact, when a painting isn't selling, Sky will paint over the existing canvas, giving it a second chance at a new life. UEL, Unity, Excellence, Legacy. Fun fact, all the products in UEL are created by Black Canadians, most of whom live in BC. Products you can find at UEL include books, skincare, hair care, and clothing. Sita Fine Jewelry, Carly Sita. Fun fact, Carly extracts materials shopping locally for gems to make timeless yet modern, high-quality jewelry. She expects people to pass on and last forever. And now let's look at the actual pilot event. We had some images of these showcase fun facts that were placed randomly around the island for the people to discover. We posted them on side streets and also close to the studio of the makers. We used magnets to put them on around the island so they would stay on various building structures. And students also created posters about the event and posted them in store windows and along the False Creek walkway so that the public can scan the QR code and start exploring. And these are the wayfinding stencils that students created for on-the-ground signs to direct public to the maker studios and other locations. And the wayfinding on the ground was created so that it could be easily washed and used eco-friendly products which could be washed easily with water. We had 3 distinct color use that was branded by the design team for the wayfinding materials. Students also created t-shirts so that the public can ask them questions for the 2 days that the event ran. And also this website was created so that when the public scanned the QR code from the map or studio, it led to the site or the individual maker landing page where they could learn more about the makers and watch the maker video. We also worked with participating makers on posting the pilot event on their social media with the appropriate hashtags to encourage the public to participate. And our partner, Friends of Granville Island, allowed students to do a social media takeover where they created multiple posts and had creative freedom to post a variety of Insta stories about the event for the 2 days of the event pilot. These are the social media comments from the general public who participated in the pilot event. A lot of the comments were on circular practice they learned from the maker studios. Some aha moments. So the learning journey of the pilot launch, doing a project like this was incredibly rewarding, but we also learned of what we could do better in the future. So more lead time for marketing. A 7-week course was too constrained from the concept design to implementation. And also there was a lot of communication barriers, such as makers didn't encourage their staff to tell public visiting the store to participate and to look for the clues. Some class delivery methods could have been handled more appropriately, such as more in-person classes or virtual classes. Running it in a 13-week term over a 7 condensed term also would have probably helped with the time management. Sometimes the circularity themes were lost as we were conceptualizing the idea. established partnerships. So originally we thought we had more partners. However, CMHC and GIBCA dropped out. Partnering with more well-known established business like Leafs Donuts in the future could probably help pinpoint and make the event much more promotional. And also having a school group, like a local elementary school partnership where K1 to 12 groups could participate in the scavenger hunt during the week would have been a much nicer way for there to be more public participation and for that educational component to come through. There were some unplanned mishaps, such as the ground wayfinding was hard to wash and not as eco-friendly as we were hoping. And also event date conflicts, such as the event ran on the dates of the jazz festival. So there was a lot of competition on a lot of like people coming to the island specifically for the jazz fest and not interested in participating in the event. And also, because the weekend was quite busy, we thought that the weekday would have actually been better for a more local experience, because people who come to the island on the weekdays, they are there they could be there for more leisurely activities and a little bit more relaxed than the frenzy of the weekend. And ideally, we would have also liked to actually have a dedicated street for the event, such as Railspur Alley. That would have been more of a in-person, face-to-face communication with the public rather than having a lot of the items digital. So thank you very much for listening to this presentation. My name is Miranda Ting.